This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and so all of the projects that I make for you here on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook Lives are all using Stampin' Up! Products. All of those can be purchased from my online store, and by doing so, you support me in a business that I absolutely love, providing videos for you guys to help you learn more how to keep stamping stress-free. I think you will like today's project. I don't have a sample to show you because I'm kind of in the middle of it. I started it last week or yesterday on yesterday's team meeting, and they loved it and wanted to know more about how I was going to go about finishing it up. I've done banners before, and I've used the large letters dies, and we don't have those anymore. So I'm using the new ones. It's these little letters. And so I've gone ahead and I cut out most of it. I went ahead and I took the letter and tried to determine, how big that was and what backing I thought it should go on to. And so I found that it fit perfectly inside the 1.5-inch circle punch. You can also use the similar size out of our layering circles dies if you'd like. There is also some bigger punches. I have a 2 and a 2 1/4 that would work, but I chose to use my stitched framelits because I thought that would give it a pretty accent behind it. I wanted to use our Gilded Autumn paper. I don't know if you guys have seen this paper yet, but it's really pretty, and it's got foil built into it on one side. It's very pretty, and it's gorgeous colors for fall. And so I chose to use that as the backdrop behind. And then I've got it mounted on Cajun Craze. Now it's on Cajun Craze, so when I was picking out my other stuff, I wanted to make sure that I also chose colors out of here. So I'm using the Early Espresso and the Mint Macaron and some more Cajun Craze to make my letters. So I'm going to go ahead and write out Happy Thanksgiving. And I went ahead and I did all the die cutting and my punching because this took a fairly long time. And I was just sure you didn't want to sit here and watch me cut all that out, because it goes all the way through Happy Thanksgiving. And I'm sure that you know how to die cut. And so what I'm going to work with you today is how we created the pennant in the background. Now, like I said, I just chose circles that I thought were a little bit bigger than the letter and then a little bit bigger than that. And then I was trying to figure out kind of how big to put behind it. So I started with 4 1/4. I took just a sheet of cardstock, and I know that I can use several different cuts out of it if I cut it at 4 1/4. That can be a card base. It can be, cut down to a 4-inch and be a card front. And then I wanted something to go over it. And so I didn't want it nearly 4 inches wide. I mean, that would have been too wide. So I went with 3 inches. So it's a 4 1/4 by 3 that I used for this piece here. And I'm just telling you how I did that because I want you to not be afraid. A lot of people say, I can't do anything. You didn't give me the exact measurements. Well, sometimes I don't have exact measurements. Sometimes I'm just laying things out and going, okay, that looks about the right size, and I'm not going to waste a lot of paper that way. And so this seemed to be a good size to mount that on. Now I could have left it just like that. I could have left it rectangle. It would have made a beautiful banner. But I wanted to show you how I go about doing the little flag at the end, because this is too wide for our banner punch. There's a triple banner punch that if anything is 2 inches or less, you can flag the end and it works beautifully. We don't have that option with this one. So I took my ruler, and this is that one that I was saying that I got from the Amazon that has the little markings on it. I love because I can watch in here and I can find the absolute center. So I know that in my 3 inches, 1 1/2 is going to be halfway. And then I want to go 1 inch up from the bottom. And then I'm just going to make a little dot right here. Now from that, I'm going to be able to cut from the corner down to here. So I'm going to line these up at the edge, and I'm just going to cut up to that tip. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, if this scares you to do it with paper trimmer, you know, paper snips, you can always lay it in the tray of your trimmer and do it that way. But I found that once I got one down, I could go behind it and use that to trace all of the others. So I can line up and then just pencil mark it. And then I know where to cut. And again, that can be done with paper snips, or it can be done on the trimmer, but that tells you exactly where it needs to be cut. And then we can just do that with all of them. And if there's a little bit of excess pencil, you can flip it over and use this side, and you can definitely go back with an eraser and pull that off. But then you're going to have all your little pennants after we go ahead and we do that. Now, the Designer Series paper comes with, each pack has 2 sheets of 12 by 12 in the Gilded Autumn. And I wanted to be sure that I would have enough to go all the way across and say Happy Thanksgiving. And there might not have been enough in just one paper in order to do them all the same. But that's one of the beauty of our Designer Series paper, is that they coordinate together very well. So I could use the back side, I could use this side, I could do a mix of them, and then I can just lay them out. The one thing I did have to be careful of is I wanted to make sure that all my foliage was going the same direction. And so it's going this way. I appreciate when you guys make comments and like and share all of my stuff. That's how I get found in the Facebook algorithm. They find that if you're interested, possibly other people will be interested. And I pop up a little higher in rankings, which is always nice. So thank you for those of you that do that. Again, like I said, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just snip from corner to the middle, seeing that that's going to fit up there. So because this piece was 4 1/4, this one was 4, the bottom was 3 inches, so this is 2 3/4. And so we can just go ahead and make all of our pennants that way. Now, if you wanted to, you can either go flush up to the top, that works perfectly well, or you can have the border at the top, that's optional for you. After I did that, I went through and I did a hole punch in the back, and then I fed my ribbon through it. And then I went and I have my letter glued onto the 1 1/2 inch circle. And then I have Stampin' Dimensionals under there. I have 3 of the mini dimensionals under there. And then there's this. So this, I'm going to go ahead and stick direct to my pennant. So that's kind of it. I mean, that's why I felt it wasn't maybe worth an entire video, because it is so simple. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's very simple. And like I said, once you have one of these cut, then you can just come in and lay them together and snip all the others. I counted, if I put one panel at the beginning, one in between Happy and Thanksgiving, and another one at the end, then I needed exactly 20 pennants. And so that's what I have cut out. I have 10 of each. So I can just come through and do all 10 of one and 10 of the other. And then I'm going to have enough to fill all of my pennants and then be able to pen at the end. So once they are cut like that, then I'm going to be able to just come in, put some adhesive. So let's at least do the Happy, and I'll show you how that looks when it's all finished. Yeah, I love the color choices too. And the beauty of it was I just turned over my pack of Designer Series paper and looked on the back, and it told me what colors were going to go together. And then all of those colors are in my Designer Series paper. So I didn't have to be an artist at all. It was all just pre-done for me, which is beautiful. So you can see it's not difficult. It's just time consuming. And then in order to know where to punch my little holes, I'm going to line one up where I've already punched them. And then I'm going to lay this over the top. And this is a 1/8 inch hole because I'm using a thinner ribbon. You can always use the 1/4 inch punch, which is your standard hole punch that everybody has for, you know, all of their school related and work related things. This one's a little bit smaller. So now I'm just punching where the holes are. And that's one of the beauties of Stampin' Up! Too. You don't get anybody out there going, oh my gosh, you stole my idea. It was bred into us early on that as Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, we should fully expect that we're sharing ideas in order to make people be creative and unwind and have fun. And so we call it casing, which is copy and share everything. So don't ever feel that it's bad that you copied someone's idea, because that's what we do. That's why we're here. We're here to inspire you and give you ideas. And, you know, once I've shown you how to make this banner, you're more than welcome to make this banner exactly as it's shown. But my thought is that once you see how I do it with Thanksgiving, it's easy to do for happy birthday or for Merry Christmas or, you know, any occasion. Once you get the idea down of how I came up with the sizing, how I cut everything, if you have to, copy my exact sizes. Like I said, you don't have to, but you can. And then just have fun with it. I mean, this can be a pretty thing to hang on the door, hang in your window, maybe on a door inside the house, on the wall, fireplace, mantle. I mean, there's any number of places that you can put something pretty and showcase that didn't cost you a lot of money, that you can still package up and have one for every season. The way I came up with my mix of colors is I actually stamped out all the letters in the same color. So I had a whole Happy Thanksgiving in the early espresso, the Cajun craze, and the mint macaron. And then I was able to cut the circles in each color and then the backing in each color. And then I just mixed and matched. I randomly said, okay, we're going to go early espresso, mint macaron, Cajun craze. And then it's going to start the series again. I wanted a different color behind the letter and an even different color behind that. So you'll notice that all three colors have been intermixed. And that wasn't, you know, anything complicated. It was just, I thought, okay, I want all three colors. I wasn't sure how to go about doing the random pattern, so I cut all three of them and made it up. So now I have this ribbon. This is the, I think it was basket weave. It's in a set of 2. It was in our holiday catalog, or our August to December mini. And I didn't like the way it made bows. I mean, I even have my bow maker tool, and a lot of you have purchased these from me. They're on sale on my website. And it just, I don't know, because it's got the metal in there, it just wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't very pliable or something. Now I'm going to start from the top and go in and then come up. Now, if I had a really pretty ribbon, I might do that in reverse and have the long stretch of ribbon be on the top. But it doesn't really matter. You can either go down and up or up and down, but you're just going to alternate and you're going to weave in and out. You might want to take a lighter and light the ends of it, of the ribbons, to like melt it so that the edges are more smooth, because as I'm pushing this through multiple times, it's unraveling a little bit, which makes it a little harder to push through. I'm also going to cut it at an angle, because if it's an angle, it's got more of a point, and that will fit through holes better too. Now in the middle, between the letters at the beginning and the end, you might want to put something extra, because you want something as a break between the letters. So maybe my T would start after a blank, and you can even put a blank at the beginning of the front. And I think I might put a leaf in it. I have the Gather Together stamp set, and it has a set of dies that have some really pretty things in it. And I could see taking the die and maybe even cutting it out in a gold and putting that on there. Or I could even make another banner, and instead of doing all of these circles, I could put my letters inside of the leaves. Wouldn't that be pretty? Just, make sure that you have fun with it. You give it a little bit of whimsy to it, and come back to me to shop for your supplies. So does anybody have any questions on how this came out or how I went about doing it? So there we go. There's our happy. Is anybody going to give this a try? I'd love to see what you make. I'm always encouraging people to pop on over to Facebook and my Queen Bee Creations Realm of Creativity and post pictures of what you make, because I love to reward you guys and send you little gifts for sharing your ideas with my customer base or my followers, because everybody, like I said, is their own worst critic. And I think once you jump out of your comfort zone and you start sharing, that encourages other people to start sharing. And that's something I like to do in this world. I think we have enough negativity. And if we can all share beauty and handmade crafts, that just makes me happy. So thank you for joining me. And I will be back next Monday at 2:30 with another Facebook Live, and we will create something else pretty to share with others. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.